Hi, I'm Mike.beliveau, and today I'd like to give you a channel update. I don't think I've done that for about a year, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't be doing one today if it wasn't for the fact that we're having typical Pennsylvania December weather, which means mostly terrible. I mean, not awful. The way Decembers go here, it's a little bit of rain, a little bit of snow, a lot of clouds, a lot of wind, a lot of crap, and very few days that don't have some of that, which makes it very hard to get out and do a shooting video. And the only couple of nice days that I have had have unfortunately fallen on days when I had real life scheduled. Either a dentist appointment or an eye doctor's appointment, stuff like that. And it's like the only sunny day we'll have, which just really torques me. But so because of that, I'm in here, and it's probably time to give you an update anyway, because it's been a while and quite a bit has gone on this year. So the first thing I want to talk about is GoX powder. As you all know, Hodgdon's has decided to sell the GoX powder division, and that has a lot of people worried. And I know that because I've been getting tons of messages and emails from you, and you all want me to do an update on that. And I've been leery to do that because I really don't have any good information. My only contact at Hodgdon, or my contact at Hodgdon's, was Chris Hodgdon, who ran the place. And I knew Chris fairly well from SHOT Shows and from writing about their products for years. But like me, Chris is an old guy and he's retired. And the new people there, they don't want to return my calls on this for understandable reasons. I do know that GoX is actively looking for a buyer. I had heard rumors of an interested buyer, but I can't confirm that, and it may not be true because I've tried to get the GoX PR people to confirm that, and they have not, and the Hodgdon's PR people. So I don't know if it's true or not, so I'm not going to report that they've got one, I know who it is, and blah, 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 because it might not happen. So hopefully it will. Hopefully a buyer will come forward. Hodgdon's has some valuable military contracts for black powder, so it's not just us who are affected by this. So it's not just our money on the table that would entice somebody to come forward and buy it. But what if nobody buys it? What does that mean? Well, the folks who import Schutzen, Petro Explo, have pledged to import as much more Schutzen as GoX would have produced GoX powder. So there should not be a drought of black powder. We should have between, the Schutzen and Swiss, there should be plenty of powder around. It might be a little more expensive, right? The Schutzen powder is made by Vano in Germany. It's quite good. It's comparable to GoX as far as velocities and that sort of thing. I personally think it produces a little more fouling than GoX, but the fouling is moister, which is a good thing in black powder. So, on the whole, I'd say it's about on a par with GoX, not as good as Swiss. But that said, I hope we get a buyer for GoX. And if I actually get a confirmation that somebody's buying it, I will certainly let you guys know. So, that's thing number one. We'll get that out of the way. This past year, I tried some different types of videos. And honestly, I didn't know how they were going to go over. But I did some detailed how-to videos for beginners. And I did those on loading cap and ball revolvers, and I did a complete series, Flintlock 101, for beginners. That ended up being a 4-video series, and those were very well received. So I may do more of those. If there's an area that you think requires demonstration and education, by all means let me know, and I'll see if I can do something with it. I had always tried to do all of those things within my videos. So always when I do a cap and ball revolver video, I always show how to load it. You know, when I do a flintlock video, I show how to load it. But it was pointed out to me that folks are searching for that kind of information specifically, and they're not going to find it if it's buried in a video about a particular gun. So that's why I did those. I did them on black, cap and ball tools and gear. Same thing for flintlocks. Those were all quite successful. They were very good. Also, at your urging, and a lot of the stuff, I wouldn't think of it on my own because I'm too dumb, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that just seems obvious to me because I've been doing it forever that I don't think that people would be interested in because it seems, so basic to me. But actually, quite often, a lot of people are interested in that because they have not done it yet. So that's why I value your suggestions on this. So the other thing is, people for years have been asking me to do more with Civil War long guns. And, that, even though I enjoy Civil War history, I love cap and ball revolvers, but the long guns, they don't really trip my trigger the way flintlocks do. But this past year, at your urging, I picked up an 1859 Sharps infantry rifle, and I love that gun. And that's been fun for me, and I think fun for you as I've explored making paper cartridges and sighting it in, and just in general learning how to shoot that. And there's still some more to explore there in the future. But, if there are other guns of the Civil War era that you're interested in, let me know, and I'll consider them. Because it's all history and it's all good. And certainly the Sharps stuff has been fun for me, and like I say, I think enjoyable for you from the views that we're getting. So quite happy about that. The third area, and this was one of great interest to me, and I had done a little of this before, but not so much, is I did what I like to call experimental archaeology with smoothbores. And that's smoothbore flintlocks, and that's because smoothbore flintlocks, they get a pretty bad rap. They're considered to be inaccurate and just not great. They really are ugly cousins compared to flintlock rifles, who everybody loves flintlock rifles, right? Those are the sexy ones. Well, I've really enjoyed taking flintlock muskets and civilian smoothbores and demonstrating what they can do. I mean, how far out they can hit, how effective they are for hunting at different ranges, how effective they were for combat at different ranges, trying different things like buck and ball and seeing how that actually worked out in practice. And I've got videos on all of those, and you guys really seem to like them. And I like doing them because I kind of like the mental challenge of figuring out a good test for that stuff. So, if there's anything on that front that you guys would like to see, let me know. Because I'll be honest with you, I would not have done buck and ball if it wasn't for you guys. Because I had done buck and ball in the past just for me, and I was very unimpressed with it. And that's because I was shooting it at a single target, right? So you guys asked for buck and ball videos so much that I thought, well, I've got to do something with that. But it made me really put my head to figuring out what's a good test for it. And I came up with a good test for it. And I have to say, I learned a tremendous amount from doing that test that changed my whole view of buck and ball. So that's because of you guys asking for it. So if there's anything else like that you're interested in, let me know. I mean, I'm not promising to do it, but I consider all of that stuff, and I figure out how feasible it is and what it would cost to do it. And, as long as we're getting good views, making a little bit of money, I can plow that money into firearms or components to do this stuff. And that's what it's for, right? So let me know. But I had a ball with that. I love doing the smoothbore stuff. I mean, I'm a rifleman at heart. But there's something about the smoothbores, the history of them, and just learning to make them tick the way they did in the 18th century that just turns me on. So, it doesn't have to be smoothbores. I mean, whatever you'd like to see more of that experimental archaeology on, let me know. I've got a few ideas that revolves around individual frontiersmen and exploits that they did, and I'm trying to make that gel into a interesting, compelling video, if you will, must-see TV. So I'm always looking for ideas. So that was the third thing. The fourth thing was something I really enjoyed, and I guess I hesitated to do it because I just didn't think it would go over well, and I was totally wrong. So this year I did a group of firearms history related videos that had no shooting or very little shooting in them. And honestly, they're very long. They're all like a half hour each. I used to try to do videos, 6 minutes to no more than 15 minutes. I always tell you, people have terrible attention spans, blah, blah, blah. So I was really worried about those. But you guys just absolutely embraced them. So the first one was everyday carry in the 19th century, or everyday carry in the era of cap and ball. And man, that was just a tremendous success. So I did police guns in the 19th century. I've done guns of the Texas Rangers. I've done stuff on why Colt was so popular. Why it wasn't 45 Colt chambered in Winchester rifles. Those two. Why was the Colt single action so popular, and why wasn't the Winchester rifle chambered in 45 Colt? Those were like shameless clickbait titles. I'm actually a little bit ashamed of them, but I couldn't think of another way to put it. And I think because they were clickbait, they generated a tremendous number of views. But a lot of people actually seem to like them from the comments, so that's good. Both of those were as a result of questions that you guys have been asking me for years. And like in the Winchester case, the answer to that was so simple. It's one of those things where I never wanted to make a video on that because I thought, well, 90% of the people must know this already. And it'll only take me 2 minutes to do a video on it. I mean, and in fact, here it is in a nutshell. 45 Colt rims were too small for the extractors on Winchester rifles. That's why they weren't chambered in them. The end. Now, if I'd just done that in a video, that probably would not have worked out too well. But anyway, those ended up being quite good videos. I mean, I like watching them myself. And surprisingly, it's stuff that a lot of people liked. So I'm happy about that. Just like the guns of the Texas Rangers, I'll just tell you a story about that. We were hosting some training at one of my gun clubs, and this was Second Amendment training by one of, like, U.S. Law Shield, I think, is who was giving it. So ultimately, they wanted to sell insurance, which, by the way, if you don't have concealed carry insurance, get it. But anyway, we were hosting this training, and the trainers got held up in an accident on the highway. So we're all sitting over there, I didn't know what to do when our club president put on the Guns of the Texas Rangers Part 1, right, 1824 to 1870, put that video on for a whole room full of people who probably had no interest in historical firearms, or most of them probably didn't. And they were at rapt attention through that whole half hour. People really loved it. So I was very gratified by how well those do. I love doing them. And I'm certainly going to do more of them until you guys say, oh, will you stop that and just go outside and do some shooting. So the next two that I have planned, and I have to tell you, from my standpoint, I love doing them. But they take about 10 times as much work as a shooting video. Because, first of all, the amount of research is tremendous. And there's a lot of stuff that I know or think I know, but I make sure I confirm it before I put it out there. So I'm hitting the books and I'm hitting the internet, and there's a ton of stuff to do. And then I have to go through my own archives to get video clips and pictures of all the stuff I'm talking about. And if it's something that I don't happen to own myself or haven't done, then I try to find stuff on the internet that'll work, that won't get me arrested. So making one of those videos takes almost a full week. And the filming of it's very easy because I film it just like I'm doing here. I write a script. I mean, a script takes me a couple of days to write. But I write a script, I do the script, and then it's all post-production where I'm cutting and pasting things in and, making that work. But I do love doing them, and I'm so glad that you guys like them, because I'm just a history nerd. I gotta admit, I just love history, and I love firearms history, love all weapons history. I've always joked, I've joked for many years that I have used everything from a Macedonian Sarissa up to an M4, and I like them all. So anyway, the next two that I've got planned are pocket pistols of 19th century America and double action revolvers of 19th century America. So hopefully those are subjects that interest you, because they'll be coming up. Now, in the year to come, I'm not just going to do that sort of stuff, history videos. I'm still going to do shooting videos. And the next one on the list is this guy, right, which is Colt's model 1877 double action revolver. You would already have a shooting video on this if it wasn't for the fact that as we go into the Christmas season, the weather outside is frightful. And I've not been able to get to the range. But the forecast is for some nice weather next week. And I'm hoping to get that baby out. And I've got black powder 38 Colt cartridges loaded up, and we're going to see what I can do. So, and there'll be more of that. And I'll try to have more actual antique guns this coming year that I'll be shooting, and all that'll be fun for me anyway. The other thing I'm going to try to get back into are reloading videos, because for a couple of years now, YouTube's community standards made reloading videos evil. And in fact, they had taken several of them right off of my channel, just deleted them out from under me. And the only reason I didn't get a channel strike was because I was grandfathered in, because I had done the videos back before they were considered evil, right? And the way I found out about this is I was looking for one of them because somebody had asked me a question about it. I knew it was out there, and they were saying they couldn't find it. I went looking, I couldn't find it either. So I thought, what the heck happened here? So I put it back up. And YouTube landed on me like a ton of bricks. They gave me a channel strike, and they took it down, and they said, don't you do that again. We took this off. So I learned a lesson there, and I've kind of stayed away from reloading videos. In fact, they were even demonetizing like paper cartridge stuff on me. So therefore, about probably 30 or 40% of the videos I did this year, I didn't even monetize. Because if they demonetize it, they still put ads on it. But they screw you in the algorithm, they do some bad stuff to you. I hardly make any money at all off of them. I would rather just put it up with no ads. That I make that choice. Then it doesn't go through a lot of the crap in the algorithm that penalizes me. Now, it doesn't go through the stuff that helps me either, because they're not making any money off of it, but that's okay. I would rather not make you watch a bunch of ads that I'm not getting hardly any money at all for. It's just no purpose in that. If it's going to go that way, I'd rather give it to you ad-free, and I did a bunch of those videos this year. But it looks like I can do some reloading stuff, so I'm kind of planning on doing a full series on 38 Colt. And I get asked quite often about how to load black powder Colt 45. So I'm going to do that. I already did a 4440 one, but it was so far in the past, a lot of people just don't find it. So I may do another one of those too. Right, so that's all coming up. So that's kind of the video stuff. Now, A lot of you know that 2 years ago I started a website. And that has been both frustrating and ridiculously expensive. Just crazy. And the problem is, I couldn't find anybody local to do the programming on it. So I ended up finding somebody through the internet. And these people, if you're familiar with Dilbert, the cartoon comic strip about work, right, well, these people are East Elbonian pirates. And basically, they charged me a fortune, often for stuff I'm not even sure that I really needed. But I don't know, and I was stuck. I didn't have anybody to do the work. Things would get hung up, and I needed them to fix it. And the site doesn't work the way it's supposed to work. And it's just very frustrating to me. So I stopped uploading stuff. There's a lot of content there, but I stopped putting new stuff on and went looking around for somebody local, which I've been looking for a long time. But I finally found a guy who's a WordPress guy, who's local. He does IT work for one of my gun clubs. Very good, young guy. So I've contracted with him to fix some of the issues. Like, I want nice black, like on the blog posts. I want nice black, big, bold font with just a pure white background, so it's easy to read, which I don't have. On some of the picture blogs, the pictures just scroll automatically and they jump up and down and go everywhere, right? So he's going to fix all of that stuff, and some other little things in there that are annoying. And when that stuff is all fixed up, I'm going to load a bunch more content to it, and I'm going to officially relaunch the website. And we're probably going to do a giveaway contest to kick that off. So I'll stay tuned. I'll let you know, here on the channel when we're doing that. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, and this is really kind of a personal issue for me. It's got nothing to do with guns or anything, but a lot of you out there realize that Mary Pat and I, we're dog people, right? We love dogs. And I know some of you have seen our bird dogs, Axel and Miss Cody. They've been in a few videos, and those of you who follow me on Facebook have seen a lot of them. Sadly, both of our dogs passed away this year. Miss Cody, our German short-haired pointer, she passed away as a result of injuries that she sustained during an accident running on the ice last winter. Very unexpected. It was quite a blow to us. Axel, we just had to put to sleep 2 months ago. He was 10 years old. He's had pretty bad hip dysplasia for a while. And he reached the point where he couldn't stand up anymore. Sorry. This has been pretty hard for us. For the last 22 years, there's always been a dog around the house, usually more than one. And now we don't have any. And I'll be honest with you, we both still dream that, like, Axel's still in the house. Sometimes it's like I'll dream that he's right there with me. So it's been hard. We decided that in the spring we are going to get a new puppy. We don't want to have to train a puppy during the middle of the winter when the snow is 2 feet deep outside. Too hard to do potty training then with a puppy. So we're going to get one in the spring. And we hesitated because we're unfortunately getting up there in years, right? So it's harder to train a new puppy when you're 67 years old in my case, and and Mary Pat. So we talked about it, and we're dog people. We just need a dog. So we're looking for recommendations on a breeder, because the breeder that we have used in the past, a great guy named Jason in North Dakota, One of his dogs passed away, and his new dog won't be breeding age for a couple of years, which is unfortunate because we would love to have another dog from Jason. So we're open to recommendations on breeders. If they're in Pennsylvania, that would be a plus. But like I say, we've gotten dogs from North Dakota, from Minnesota. We're not opposed to flying a dog in. We do want it to be a family breeder who loves their dogs. Okay, actually hunts their dogs, loves them as pets, and has a litter or so a year, and they take care of it. We don't want any big commercial breeders. We've had nothing but bad experiences with them in the past. If you are one, I don't mean to insult you, but we just prefer a nice family breeder that we can talk to. So, if you get a recommendation, especially a local one, that would be great. And you can email it to my email, Mike.beliveau at hotmail.com. The breeds we're interested in are German wire-haired pointers and poodle pointers. And we're interested in bird dogs. We intend to hunt them. We like those breeds. We're not interested in the rescue. I mean, I very much appreciate people who do rescues. I think that's phenomenal. But we're looking for a dog to raise as a puppy. And we're looking for specific breeds because we know the characteristics of those breeds. That's what we want. So, any recommendations would be great. And that's all the news on my end. So, till next week. Bye.